Vladimir Putin says Russia is ready to grant asylum to former FBI Director James Comey if he feels persecuted in the U.S. The statement came during the Russian president's annual Q&A session with the public. RT's Daniel Hawkins was there.
When the head of a security service records his conversations with the commander-in-chief and then leaks it to the press through his friend, how's the FBI director then any different from Mr. Snowden? In that case, he's not the head of a security service anymore, but a human rights activist defending a certain position. By the way, if he feels he's being persecuted over this, we'll be ready to grant him political asylum in Russia as well. He should know that.
Quite a bombshell, although it's of course to be taken with a pinch of salt, knowing Vladimir Putin's quite unconventional, dry sense of humor. Nevertheless, it's become a hit already on social media. Many other news outlets have taken it up. That offer James Comey, former FBI director, asylum in Russia. Putin was, of course, referring to Comey's Senate testimony just a few days ago, or last week rather, when Comey gave his evidence about the alleged Russian hacking in the US election and indeed about his firing from the post of FBI director. He, of course, leaked his conversations with US President Donald Trump through a friend to the media. That's something which he's received a lot of flack from the Trump camp, the Trump lawyers, etc. And Mr. Putin said that if Mr. Comey at any point feels threatened or persecuted, he can claim asylum in Russia as well, just like the whistleblower Edward Snowden, who he compared him to during that quote. Now, another topic that came up a lot was, of course, the relationship between Russia and the US. It's no secret that it's at an all-time low right now since the Cold War, diplomatically, with sanctions, the situation in Syria and Ukraine, etc., all very salient topics. Mr. Putin said that the people in Russia and America have no reason to fear each other, to hate each other. In fact, Russia has a lot of friends in America and vice versa, and any hatred or fear that existed between the two was there, created artificially by hysteria whipped up by the media. Take a listen.
We are observing Russophobic sentiments in the US. We regard that as the result of an intensifying internal political struggle. Russia has many friends in the US. My American colleagues told me this, and polls suggest that we have a lot of them there. Unfortunately, there is hysteria in the media that exerts its influence.
Now, the Russian economy came up several times, and of course the sanctions, the impact the sanctions had on it. In fact, a new round of sanctions was just passed a day or so ago by the Senate. Putin said that the sanctions had impacted both Russia and the countries that have put the sanctions on negatively, and that the worst was over, and the countries should move forward with constructive dialogue and a mutual respect of interests and sovereignty as opposed to conflict.